How's everybody doing? My name's Augie with VIP Playlist. I am here with my co-host Adam. If stubbing your toe was a person, Rodriguez.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that.
That's a little shout out from it's Adam. He's part of our Patreon. If you want to give Adam a cool nickname like that or whatever, join our Patreon. We also have a special guest with us tonight. You want to introduce yourself and what band and what you do for the band?
Sure. My name's Tony, and I sing for Space Weather. And I think that's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Heck yeah, man. So, funny story, real quick, before we get into all this. I went to message you, and I don't ever know what people use. I don't know if they use like Facebook, so I always go check and see like how active they are. And I went to go message you on Facebook, and apparently we'd messaged each other before, but it was we had one message to each other, and it was pretty much about how we like to have clean buttholes.
Oh,
That's very interesting.
It's the bidet gang, man.
Oh, we were talking about the
okay.
days.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
installed a new bidet.
that was definitely that was like the big thing, like right whenever people needed toilet paper.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's exactly why I installed it. I was like, man, Adam doesn't wash his booty after he poos, so Adam, you gotta get the bidet, bro.
Yeah. I'm still in like the 1800s
Yeah, bro.
with
You're in the
the wet
Stone Age,
wipes.
bro.
Yeah, I need to up my game.
Yeah, man. Now today, man, we're gonna make a playlist, and it's gonna have some of your favorite music on it. We'll ask you a bunch of questions about what you listen to with your parents and everything like that. Is there anything you want to name this thing?
so I guess I'm gonna name it songs that you listen to while you eat spaghetti. Something to that effect.
Perfect.
I got songs to listen to while eating spaghetti.
Love it.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right. Sweet, man. The first songs we kind of like to add on here are basically just songs you remember listening to with your parents that maybe you still kind of go back to, or just, some of those old songs that maybe your parent or guardian showed you, maybe like road trips or anything like that when you were a kid.
Sure. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Billy Joel, which I mean, I don't listen to Billy Joel as much these days, but it's definitely uh, as far as like from the singer songwriter aspect, I always thought Billy Joel was just really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's one of the earlier stuff. I think my parents they had like a greatest hits. They would listen to that a lot in the car, and they listened to a lot of real old school stuff. And I had a lot of friends growing up that listened to things like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, and I never really had much exposure to that side of like rock, uh, interestingly enough. But as far as what specific songs from Billy Joel, I mean, Allentown is definitely one of the ones that I like a lot.
Oh, nice. That's not even one on his top five, man.
Yeah, and like it's like as far as like what he does, I mean, singing the way that he sings and playing the piano to me is also I always thought was very impressive. I mean, he
Mhm.
really can hold his melody lines down and
Yeah.
singing in such a specific way while, also having his hand on the keys and
Yeah, yeah, he's got a great voice, and man, I'm a sucker for piano, man. I love piano.
Who doesn't?
Right?
So you guys just released a song in February, so a couple of months ago, right?
yes.
How has the reception been, and what's coming next? Like, what's next?
So the reception has been really good. Um, the song is called Silent Hex, and it got a lot of positive feedback. And I mean, me personally, I was worried because it was a bit different than what we have done in the past.
Hmm.
I think this song genre wise, it was kind of different because we didn't really have any effects on the guitars or anything, and there were no clean guitars either. It was really just distortion throughout. But
Yeah.
uh, and the choruses too of the song, we definitely went for a more simple route. But there's still a lot of syncopation going on, and it definitely is a complex song with some of the intricate riffs that are going on.
Yeah.
Uh, it's actually one of the hardest songs for us to play. We don't play it live right now only because in order for us to do it, everybody needs to have a click track on them, which there's a lot of types of songs that maybe from a band that you can kind of just play freestyle and it always sounds cool and but this is the type of song because of how simple it is in some parts, but also very tight. So and it does change time signatures a lot too, and that's the other thing. But it
Yeah.
the precision between all the band members is really important, which is why we have yet to play it to a live audience.
Hmm.
It's very groovy. I really like how y'all went for the groove in the chorus, man. It's extremely groovy.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was writing it, the melody line for the chorus actually came first. And I know for a lot of bands, sometimes the music is written and then the vocals go on top. But
Hmm.
I think the chord progression was there. But after I wrote the vocal melody, I ended up changing some of the notes on the guitar in the chorus to kind of uh, follow exactly what the vocal melody is doing, um, to kind of add like an kind of an extra emphasis on the melody itself. So, but I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds awesome. I will say that so we listened to which I've heard Space Weather. I actually I'm pretty sure Space Weather EP came out what 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I remember y'all pushing that back in like 2019, somewhere around there, because that was back when I was big into like the DGD groups on Facebook and stuff like that. So that's kind of my first introduction was the Space Weather EP, like way back then. But I will say that as far as like musicianship, y'all have grown so much in that time. With your um, I mean, starting from like, and I'm not saying the Space Weather EP was bad at all by any means, because it's really good, but just the way I don't know, just the way the song sounds and the instruments and everything, you can tell that, the vocals, like everything is as just, y'all have just grown so much as musicians. Starting with like Montero, the cover y'all did,
Oh,
you know,
thanks. Yeah,
yeah,
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that.
yeah,
I think the big thing, whenever the EP came out, I didn't know what I was doing in terms of like, yeah, well, I still don't know what I'm doing, but when I wrote the EP, I was just getting familiar with a DAW for the first time. So um, whenever it was recorded, I mean, the how it sounded in my pre-production versus the actual recordings, I had no idea what to expect.
yeah,
Um, and I like how it came out. But with Silent Hex and all the future music that we have going on, I mean, I did spend a lot of time working in Pro Tools and just getting a better idea. It was a lot easier for me to figure out the sounds that I wanted.
yeah,
And so by the time I got the masters, obviously, what I recorded officially sounds better than what I've done in the past, but there was a lot closer of a line. So I kind of had a better understanding of what I was doing going in.
yeah.
So I think that definitely played a bigger part. Getting a better understanding of it helped me kind of refine my songwriting
Did
in
y'all
that
use the
aspect.
same person to master it for both releases or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who did y'all use?
We went with Chris Crummett, actually.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
Very cool.
yeah. And it's also nice because working with him the second time too, there's always the kind of a dialogue between a musician and, who's producing and,
Yeah.
uh, you know, making things, the ability to clarify things between them and having that conversation going. And so working with Chris the second time, it was a lot easier because we already knew each other. So
Yeah.
very
Kind
helpful.
of knew what to expect already, everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And he's a really
So
cool guy. So
yeah, he's done a lot of amazing work as well. So do you play instruments? Like just I know you do vocals in the band, but do you play anything?
I actually I actually write everything too.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so to put it into perspective, the EP from 2018 was written and recorded completely by me.
Oh wow.
Um, I started playing drums at a pretty early age,
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I
then
wanted to get into with this
Yeah.
question. So yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, I got into drums pretty early on, and then I did guitar soon after that, and I've always been singing, I guess. So, and then the bass came around the same time as guitar. But writing and recording the EP, like I just had a lot of music that I had written, and I knew I wanted to do something with it, and I kind of just went for it and went on my own and did it. And after the EP came out, then it was a lot easier to find band members.
Yeah.
And then for Silent Hex and the future music, the majority of it is still written by me. Silent Hex was recorded completely by me, but the intro riff to the song was written by one of the guitarists in the band. He gave that riff to me, and then I helped kind of refine it. And then I added the lead guitar riff over it. And then from there, I kind of just wrote the rest of the song. It kind of progressed pretty naturally from there.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I do the majority of the songwriting,
Nice.
including with the music going forward as well.
That's hella talent, man. That's very
Yeah, for
talent right there.
sure. I
Like
mean, I didn't even realize that. That's really awesome. And so
yeah.
like who or what got you into singing in the first place?
Um, I don't know. I guess like with singing, my parents kind of made me do it when I was a little kid. And I didn't like doing it at the time, but like growing up in high school and stuff, I was always a tenor. But sometime after I graduated high school, I realized I was able to like get an even higher part of my range that I didn't know I could do. And by that point, I was already writing music as well, but it was a little bit lower because I didn't know how to access certain parts of my range. So
Yeah.
a lot of the artists that I'm sure we'll go over, like playlist wise, have in some shape or form been an influence though on my voice as well. So
Yeah, man. So what was those first things you like to sing, man? Just I know you I probably like not including like I'm sure you were in choir, so not the choir songs, but just in your free time.
gosh, I don't know. I mean, like growing up, like I listened to a lot of. It first went into things like from like Linkin Park.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good stuff.
yeah, and which my voice, it sounds nothing like that guy, but
Yeah.
it was still always fun to like just like sing that those kind of things. But once I got introduced to, some earlier elements of like pop punk and like post-hardcore, I mean, like I listened to a lot of like Seosin's like self-titled. I think that was
Hmm.
my favorite album for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then that kind of got me into like the rabbit hole of like Circa Survive and different bands of that genre. And
Hmm.
so
Let's give me your favorite Linkin Park song, man.
I don't know. That's a tough one. It's funny because I have a friend that when one of us listens to Linkin Park, we tell the other person that we are because every time it happens, we seem to get into like one of those like where you listen to the same band for like 3 weeks straight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I'm a big fan of definitely like their first three albums are pretty big for me. I guess a lot of people would normally say that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's that one song. Um, Also their Reanimation album too. I'm also a big fan
Oh
of.
yeah.
But yeah, at least from a Hybrid Theory, I really like the last song on the album, which is "Pushing Me Away." Everybody likes the song "In the End." That's always a good song. But
Yeah, yeah.
and then from Meteora, obviously Big fan of the song Faint. Love the song Numb too. And then From Minutes to Midnight, I mean, geez, like Shadow of the Day is a really good song. And actually, I know that song, there was a lot of people singing that song after Chester Bennington died.
Hmm.
But yeah, and there's also a song on Minutes to Midnight called Valentine's Day that is definitely on the way popular side. But when I was growing up as a kid, I loved it, especially
Yeah.
even the format of the song because it was one of those songs that had like a general buildup, and then at the end of the song, it goes hard, but only for a little bit, and then suddenly the song's over. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, what a hell of a vocalist, man. I saw something about him today on TikTok, and it was that fucking 17-second fry scream.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, and
God damn, boy.
No More Sorrow. I think that
Yeah, it's
either that or From Giving Up. But
yeah,
yeah, crazy,
yeah. Oh
crazy,
my
crazy
God,
stuff.
dude. Yeah, dude, and it's the craziest part is he goes from like directly from the 17-second fry scream directly back into singing. Like as soon as he's done, he's got to hit the note, and he
Yeah.
fucking nails it. That's the most impressive shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Let's go with some Seosin, man.
All right. Yeah, Seosin, I mean, their self-titled is to me like uh it's like one of those things where it's like it's hard to find a bad song. Um
Yeah,
I know like I'm a big fan of Sleepers. That's one of those songs that it's more similar to their Translating the Name EP as far as like the format of the song. There's only two choruses. You know how a lot of uh, a lot of singles or things you'd hear on the radio typically do a chorus three times.
yeah,
But it's like that was one of their songs where it's like short and to the point, but it's hard hitting and like everything you want to hear in a song is there. And obviously, Voices is a great song.
yeah,
Love the hi hat beat and that. Some Sense of Security is a really good closer for that album. It's like one of the few songs in that album that they do piano.
yeah.
But they would do live as well. I'm pretty sure their bassist would do it, but um,
Man, did you see? So they released that on vinyl. It was like a special, like, what was it? Like, shit, like, I don't remember, 20 year, I think, something like that. And it was some,
oh
let's see,
yeah, I
what's
think they
it
did it
about?
for Translating the Name,
2006.
their original.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
maybe. Yeah. And that shit
Yeah.
sold out in like 20 fucking minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's insane, dude. That vinyl was fucking beautiful too. It had all the like songs and shit all over. It was fucking
I
cool
think it had the
looking.
lyrics to all
Yeah,
the
the
Yeah.
songs.
lyrics to all the songs
Yeah.
is
Like
what it
One
was.
Spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was
Yeah.
so
pretty
cool.
cool.
This shit looked dope, man. Circus Survive?
Circus Survive. Uh, my favorite album from them is I guess it's probably their second one. Um,
On Letting Go.
yeah, that album to me, like production wise, like I feel like that type of production wouldn't work on a lot of different types of like different bands in the genre, but it works so well for
Mhm.
Yeah.
them. Gosh, this whole album is just crazy.
It really is.
I love the song In the Morning and Amazing. I think that was like one of the first times I got
Yeah.
introduced to like a different time signature, but in a very friendly way. I don't know. It's like you hear some bands that will do time signature changes that in a way it almost feels kind of awkward, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the tom beat in that song, I mean, it just works so naturally. The difference between medicine and poison is the is in the dose is
Mhm.
Yeah.
also such a timeless song. I mean,
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like I know what I'm going to listen to after we talk.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same actually. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I have I
Yeah.
have it on vinyl, so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Man, that album, I hated that album when it first came out. I did. I don't know why. I do know why. It's because it was considered post-hardcore,
Oh yeah.
and I didn't understand what about it was post-hardcore.
You were expecting one thing, popped it in, got
Yes.
another, and you were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And like later on you realize, hey, this is great.
This shit's
But
yeah. Yeah, it's just
you
amazing.
felt lied to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I
And it
didn't like
wasn't
it.
Yeah.
them. It was like whoever, you buy your
Yeah,
CD at Hastings. It's like we're fans of blah blah blah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sure like they wouldn't categorize or like,
No.
I mean, it's like that's always such a thing for bands releasing their stuff is people will put them in a label.
Yeah,
But I
you're
think
trying to
back then, I
label
don't
them.
think Circa survived. Like, I don't think there was like a correct for fans of that you could put them into that because I mean,
Nothing, yeah, that we would know probably.
yeah, because they were the label they were on, had a bunch of like post-hardcore screamo bands and shit like that.
Yeah.
And like that's what the four fans of was going off of. And it's not, I don't think they didn't fit into any of that shit. And I think that's why I kind of felt
Yeah, I can
betrayed, I
agree with that.
guess. Yeah. But, after just growing up and giving it a chance, it's literally just the most beautiful
Yeah.
album ever.
I love like all their work, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Anthony Green is just fucking insane,
Hmm.
dude. His voice and his writing style and his lyrics and
They're all next level. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that something like your introduction? I know Linkin Park was your introduction to this type of like just rock and
so
all that shit, or
me getting introduced to like Linkin Park, for example, I guess my sister had a Hybrid Theory CD just hanging
Hmm.
around, and
yeah.
I was only like, maybe 9 or 10 listening to that, like, and I think if my parents like listened to it, they probably would be like, "Why are you listening to this?" But because like I'm not, and I wasn't like an angry
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
9/10 year old. I'm just like headbanging to this, like not knowing why it sounds so cool, but it just does. But I know in ninth grade, I had a friend on the bus who gave me a whole bunch of CDs, and I think from the CDs, it got me into at the time like an internet rabbit hole
Yeah.
from then going on to MySpace and then because at the time that's how bands were just like
Oh yeah,
community
yeah.
bands and
Right.
somehow I found Seosin and I think Voices was the first one that I heard
Hmm.
and then I listened to 7 Years not understanding not realizing that there was a different singer and being like wow
Right.
they sound so different, but still like the core things are there. But like, why does the singer sound different? And I'm like a dumb like 14-year-old kid not knowing like what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, once I heard Sayson though, I mean, the rest was kind of history from there. Then I really started digging into all the bands associated.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Got you.
Listen up, all you VIP peers.
VI
We have a
players.
goddamn Patreon now.
Kid is so aggressive.
I did.
We have a Patreon now,
Yeah, motherfuckers.
and a Discord, and
Yeah,
a YouTube,
Discord. Come
but
join it.
no webcams yet.
No webcams. You can't see our beautiful face.
Not yet.
Yeah. Shout out to Enormous Adam on Discord. Hit him up if you need a Discord. He did a great job on ours. It looks cool. But guess what? You won't know how it looks unless you join that bitch. If you would, please join our Discord and our Patreon. It would be really cool of you. We would love you forever. We'd still love you forever, even if you don't.
Yeah.
But-
You join the Patreon, you're gonna get stickers. You get to dehumanize me.
Yes.
You want to know what that means?
Go look
to
at
the
the
Patreon.
Patreon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's
And
it.
subscribe to our fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah. Comment.
Thank you.
Review. Subscribe. We
Yeah,
love you
all
more.
that stuff. Do everything that you do for all the people that you love on YouTube. Do it for us too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We love you.
There is like a very, very like technical style, I guess, guitars. I don't know what you'd call it, like time signatures and things like that. And I know Circus Survive kind of did that a little bit, but what was like your go-to for, I guess, math rock is what they call it nowadays?
um, so in I don't know if it was 2007 or 2008. Maybe it was even sometime after that, but I remember on Christmas Day, because my brother who plays bass for the band, he
Nice.
always listened to similar kind of things, but they were typically on the softer side.
Yeah.
Um, but he discovered, I remember on Christmas Day, he found This Town Needs Guns.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
TTNG.
yeah, so they had their album Animals. and
Yeah.
that was pretty huge for me as far as I was like, oh, these things sound like so complex, but all the guitars are clean. The drums are super tight and they're changing time signatures like crazy. I don't understand half of what's going on here, but I love it.
Yeah. TTNG, they got a lot of people. They everybody loved that. That's just that album Animal specifically is mentioned
Yeah,
so
it,
much.
especially because when I was growing up, I really didn't like time signature changes a lot for the most part. My brother did. Um, Now I'm definitely a way bigger fan of them, but I'm still pretty selective about, bands that do things like that because, as I said before, it's like sometimes when bands do it, it's like they're kind of trying to force it into a song rather than, kind of
Sure.
making it very cohesive sounding and
Yeah.
but in this Town Needs Guns, I mean the way they always did it to me, I always just thought it sounded spectacular.
Yeah, yeah. You got a song from that album?
Let's see. I really like the song Lemur. That song is mostly actually in 4/4, but they have sections of five, which I always thought was cool. And Baboon is also a really good one too.
Were you like not classically trained, I guess, but were you like taught how to play all these instruments, or did you teach yourself?
I had lessons in the drums for a
Hmm.
little bit, but guitar, and bass, I always taught myself.
That's
I took
awesome.
I took piano lessons too when I was like 5, but all I wanted to do was play video games, so that didn't last very long. But
Yeah.
then at some point in ninth grade, I took a class in music theory, and after I took that theory class, I just like instantly knew how to play piano. I don't really know how to explain that, but
Huh.
so
That's
it
all
like
you need. It's just
the three
theory,
things
right?
kind of just clicked for me, yeah. So and then I
Yeah.
started playing the piano a lot.
Just a
That's
beast.
what's up. Right? Doing these podcasts, I understand a little better now. But before, I mean, I listened to like, all the math rock bands like, Chon and Strawberry Girls and all these other different bands that do like the time signature changes and shit. And I don't know what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's I
Like
think it's
I
always
don't have
cool.
like a trained ear or anything. Like I don't know
Yeah.
anything about time signatures. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what matters though, like regardless of like one having a trained ear or not, is that you enjoy it, right? Because like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly.
like I always want, at least my hope is that with the future music we're doing, we are doing some time signature changes, but I still hope that it's like you for everybody, you
Yeah.
know? So
No, that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
How long have you guys, been a band? I think it's pretty cool that you have your brother in the band as well. I mean,
yeah, I would say that at this point we've been a band. I don't know. The timeline is a little bit tricky, but
right.
because I don't think I had a full band until I want to say like late summer, early fall of like 2019. So I've probably had a band for a little less than 4 years because I always had people who maybe wanted to be in the band, but it was really hard to get people together. And honestly, it was kind of hard to find people to be committed to the project until after I recorded the music. And then people realized that this was like a thing that was being taken seriously.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it took the longest to find a drummer though. That was
Yeah.
definitely
We get that a lot. Basically, any of the bands that ever amounted to anything or even didn't, it's all because they were either all in or like maybe there was I forget what band we were talking to, but he was like, we had everything going for us. We had a large tour going. We were probably going to sign, and then there was just like one person that just didn't want to
Yeah.
take it to that level, and it kind of just once
Yeah, yeah.
you're strong as your weakest link, right? So that guy kind of fell through, and the rest of them were like, well, okay, I guess we're out too,
Yeah.
so
That was Image
um
Intent, and he
yeah,
said that they had they had a it was a summer tour with Rise Against
that's right.
wow.
that they were going to be a part of,
What
and
band
I
was that?
think
It
There's a band
was,
called Image Intent, but it
but it
wasn't that
wasn't
band. It was
them.
a
It was
yeah.
like
One of the
their
members of that band was telling us
guitarist or bassist or something. Yeah,
bassist. Yeah,
bassist. Yes, and another band.
yeah,
I don't think we got the name of that band.
yeah. He didn't tell us the name of that band, but yeah, he said when he was like 18, 19 years old, he was in a band, and they were doing really well. They booked this like summer tour with Rise Against, and it was shit, dude. It was one of their big albums that had just come out that they were going to do support for,
Hmm.
and then their one of their members just dropped out, man.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it
he
just
was
got
like,
too real for
yeah,
him. I guess I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that
would
shit
say
sucks, man.
for for this band, getting to a point where we're looking to tour and stuff, but that also being said, I do basically keeping tabs on a lot of things, like because some band members aren't able to make that happen, but
Yeah,
I'm always going to try and make that happen. So, you know, always a lot of people on that I'm, ready to reach out to kind of help make that happen as far as replacement members go. Because my brother, who's the bassist, he is a teacher and he's also a dad.
yeah.
And our guitarist, he is also a teacher the college level, but the
Oh
school that
man.
he teaches at is their schedule was pretty strange. So it's like he'll be working in these different blocks as opposed to having like a summer break and like a spring break, like
Oh, they
most.
do like quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and so it's harder for him to tour, and like those things are always they're understandable because life gets in the way. But
Yeah. Well, there
when we
ain't
get to
much
that
money
point,
in music, man.
yeah, yeah, it's just like when we get to that point, we'll always have like different members that we'll find fill-ins for. But
Yeah. Well, that's what's up. Hell yeah, dude. So let's talk about that cover real quick. What made y'all want to do the Montero cover? I mean, it's a good song.
honestly, my drummer, he just the song came out and he's like, "We should do a cover of this," and I was like, "Okay." um, and I had a lot of guitar parts that I already had going on anyways, so I kind of just like mix and matched a bunch of stuff. And my guitarist, he was like, "Well, I have a 7 string, so like let's bust that out." And
Yeah.
he's like, "I have a 12 string acoustic, so let's restring that and use that." And we did it as quickly as we could to as far as like recording it, and because we just self-produced it because we just wanted to get it out there.
Yeah.
And it was also something we were doing while waiting for getting mixes back from we recorded in 2021 in February, which actually Silent Hex was one of those songs. So it's crazy to think about that song was recorded almost 2 years later before
Yeah.
coming
The
out. But
process takes so long sometimes, man.
yeah, so we were in the middle of waiting for those mixes, and we were like, might as well do something. So, but that actually came out pretty cool. I think that did kind of show it more of the direction of what we were going into, as
Hmm.
far as like the technical aspect of it. So,
Yeah. So is there any songs that you listen to like outside of the genre? Just, I mean, speaking of that covers, way outside of the genre that y'all play. So is there any, artists that you enjoy that aren't?
yeah, I listen to a good amount of like indie. I listen to some R&B as well.
Yeah.
Um, One of my favorite artists, her name is Georgia Smith, and I
Okay.
probably started listening to her. Gosh, I want to say not long after I recorded the EP, and I don't even remember how I found her. It was probably through Spotify, but yeah, her music, I mean, there's just a lot of different elements going on in the beats, but her vocal melodies are just, they are out of control. I mean, she's so talented.
Yeah.
Definitely a big influence on future music vocally.
Hmm.
Nice.
A good song from her is it's called Goodbyes. It's acoustic, but the melodies and from what I can tell from the recording itself, it doesn't really sound like there was like a click track involved. Kind of just sounds like she was just going off of, kind of like a one take type of deal.
Yeah.
Uh, but the level of the way she does her vocal rolls and stuff, it's you know, it's very, in my opinion, difficult for a lot of singers to do the things that she does.
Yeah.
Another song from her is it was from a more recent album. It's called Digging, and that song, the vocal melody is still good, but also all the instruments behind it, they are utilizing like the drum set and like synthesizers in a very unique way. So
Yeah. I look forward to checking that out. That's awesome. I enjoy finding new like pop or, pop adjacent or R&B, jazz. So I enjoy finding new shit like that for sure.
yeah, it's definitely a completely different vibe from the music that we play.
Yeah.
But it's so it puts
Uh,
you in a different space.
that's what I enjoy about doing this, is if you listen to the same thing constantly, I have a theory, man. If you listen to the same shit over and over again, your music's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
You gotta
Um,
pull different influences from different areas, and that's what makes bands unique and good, in my opinion.
yeah, absolutely. I think when we're from a writing aspect, I typically try not to it's like when I am writing, I try to stay away from any of the bands that people say we sound like because
Yeah,
I mean I don't mind comparisons, but I don't want to be directly influenced from them while I'm writing.
yeah,
Right.
for sure. I don't know if you've ever been compared to anybody that you don't enjoy, but does that kind of suck a little when somebody's like, "Oh, you sound like this band," and you're like, well, "I fucking hate that band."
No, I don't think that's really ever happened.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
good, man.
I guess I don't dislike a lot of bands as much as you know, I mean it is I guess like it could be annoying when people make the same comparisons over and over again,
Hmm.
Yeah,
but usually the people who do that I think are just focusing on maybe one song or something as well. So
yeah,
I feel like in my opinion, like, you know, you have to listen to our whole discography to really make you know, a better
yeah,
idea of like
absolutely, yeah,
what our influences come from. Because even the EP alone, I felt like all the songs were very different and definitely grabbed from different things.
yeah, yeah, and that's what we try to do here is we try to listen to everything that we can get our hands on too. That way we can you know have a lot more to talk about than just listening to your new shit or your old shit or whatever.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of your new shit, man.
Sure.
Uh, so we just got Silent Hex. Of course, we've mentioned it quite a few times. So if you haven't heard it yet, go listen to Silent Hex. It's fucking great. How many songs do y'all have recorded to and set for release? If you can
Um,
talk about it.
right now we're looking at 10 songs. Silent Hex and Pyroclasm are two of those.
Okay.
But yeah, we're looking at a 10 song release, and they
So
were
is this are y'all gonna do like an LP, like a debut LP?
um I think so.
Okay.
We have a lot of options as far as how we want to release it,
Hmm.
and it's kind of difficult, but we're figuring it out. I guess the idea is, just trying to make sure that the music that we have is exposed to as many people as possible, so
Yeah.
that by the time we do release it, that it has a pretty solid following. It's kind of unfortunate in like the industry that we are today, but it is kind of hard to release an album if you don't do it right. Then I feel like there's a lot of songs that we worked hard on that could be go under the radar and not be
Yeah.
noticed. So,
Yeah.
but
And I think the new standard is basically releasing like over half of the album as singles before you even release the album.
yeah,
Because that way you have more of a chance to land on the curated playlists and all that shit.
yeah, and it's sad too because I think like when I was younger, when a band was releasing an album, part of like the magic was like listening to all these songs at
Yeah.
once.
getting like
that
one or
you've
two
never
singles
heard
as
of
like a
before.
teaser, and then
Yeah, so but at the same time, when you're a smaller band too, that's always not a bad move to do because especially like if you get a fan later on down the road, like way after you have a release, all the music is still new to them. So
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, the algorithm is it's a hard game to play.
yeah, man, it changed really fast. So I know there's a
Yeah.
lot of people still, I think with smaller bands the issue is just like the money probably because you can spend all this money on an LP and then like you said, the algorithms doesn't pick it up and you pretty much just wasted all this money, which in a sense it's not necessarily a waste because you did what you wanted to do, but it's a waste in a sense that not a lot of people are going to hear it. So
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you want to make sure, if you're writing something, you want to make sure that people are, going to listen to it. So, especially if you're going to put that much money and time and effort and everything into it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I released the Space Weather EP, the self-titled back in 2018, looking back, I probably would have waited before doing it to, kind of work on the different singles in that EP because all of those songs I always felt like were a good standoff on their own in their own like unique way.
Yeah.
But because well after, I mean, it was during the pandemic that we decided to do a music video for one of those songs, and that was definitely one of the better decisions that we made because there was still a lot of people that haven't heard of us, and it was a great way for them to find it. And
Yeah.
um, even last year, I mean, we decided to do a little bit of advertising for it, and we ended up getting a lot of new fans from different places. So, yeah, I don't know. A band of a smaller size, there's always still like that cold audience, like that's never heard of you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That you can kind of change up the game whenever they're introduced to it, even if your music's older.
Yeah, for sure. Do y'all have like a release date for the next single or
Um,
I don't want to pry too much.
well, we do not. Well, so the first thing that we're going to do is we plan to release a music video for Silent Hex. At the time that we released the single for Silent Hex, we just finished recording the band footage, and there's also green screen footage as well that we plan to, yeah, have a pretty funny, cheesy music video for it. So,
Nice. Yeah.
and then from there, we will be releasing some more singles. But
Yeah. You know who's really good at that? There's a post-hardcore band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called they just released an album. It's their first album since like 2017. They're called The Ongoing Concept.
I believe I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, okay. They're like a solid state band. Solid State Records. These dudes do all of it themselves. So I think they released like 3 or 4 singles with music videos for each one. And they shot all the music videos themselves.
Hmm.
They edited them all themselves. I'm pretty sure they mixed and mastered their own record. They did like all this shit themselves. And it's like, those dudes are hella talented. Like, if you go watch their music videos and then go watch like the behind the scenes footage on how they made it, it's fucking nuts because I guess you gotta trust the process, man. Because while you're watching, you're like, that looks nothing like what I just fucking watched.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of respect for bands that you know are putting in all the work for all the different areas of just like
Yeah,
of being in a band. Because I mean, I can write songs, but there's so many aspects to being in a band that are still a process to learn, and managing a single release, an album release. Those things are tough. And
yeah,
if you mess them up, it's like you said, it can almost feel like a waste of your money if you don't do it right.
yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. And that's it's so crazy to me too because um, slightly off topic, but kind of on topic is I actually knew a guy one time. He was his dad owned an air conditioner company, and no, Adam, I'm not talking about myself. My dad owns his own air conditioning company, but um, his dad retired, left the company to him, and he fucking quit. And when I asked him why he quit, he was like, I just want to do fucking air conditioning work. I don't want to do all the paperwork, the taxes, all the bullshit that comes with it. I don't want to fucking do it.
Hmm.
He just wanted to work on air conditioners. And that's kind of how I feel about like, shit like that. It's like your passion maybe into like making music and that's it. You don't want to have to do all the other bullshit that comes with it. And
Yeah, and especially I think in today, I mean, that's like you still got to do it even if you don't want to, you know.
yeah,
A lot of it does also come down to money. I mean, if you have the money to have someone else to do, some
yeah,
of the different things, it's like that's always good. But
yeah. Oh, not even just that. I mean, a band, you're like a team working together. So you can always like, whatever each individual is good at, other than making music, they can always bring that into the band as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Definitely trying to utilize our different strengths. And
yeah,
uh, so that was one of the nice things about, once I had band members, definitely helping out on different aspects that like to keep myself from getting too overwhelmed with everything.
yeah, for sure. I see that's kind of like like a podcast. I do not want to do social media, period. I hate it. I can't do it. Neither can Adam. We both suck shit
Yeah,
at social media,
100%.
but we enjoy doing this.
Yeah, social media is it's the worst.
Yeah,
It
It's like
really is.
that's definitely my least favorite part, actually.
yeah,
I mean, Dancing Demons, one of the songs from my band's EP is kind of about it, but the like social media addiction is like it's one of those things that like, you know, um being stuck in like the dopamine loop of
yeah,
posting, but also just the fact that it's taking away from so much like precious time that you have. I mean, time that you could be spending with people that you care about, or or
yeah.
working more on the passion. And I actually don't hate creating content, but it the constant posting and stuff. I mean, it takes a huge mental toll over time.
Oh, for sure. And that's one thing. So
Mhm.
I never posted in general, like on any of my social. I mean, like every now and then I do, but I hardly ever post on social media, period. So now I have like this podcast where it's like if I don't post, people aren't going to listen to it. But it's like I have issues with like I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. I try to talk about it with my wife and stuff, but like I don't want to make 1,000 posts of like just random shit that I don't really care about just to get interactions.
Yeah, they're like maybe you don't feel are actually genuine, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like a genuine individual,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's hard to do that because I don't know. It's just weird.
yeah, it can be hard. It's
Yeah,
one of those things that, at least for me, it's like I know, like it's like I still got to do it at the end of the day, but
yeah,
it does take a lot. So I'm trying to get better with time management,
yeah.
and to only be on my phone or anything else like when I'm actually posting. But also a big part of social media is interacting with other people as well. So
I'm
it,
terrible at that.
yeah, it's all about finding the balance for sure.
Yeah,
I know something that my band that we will be doing is just being way more active on, platforms like TikTok and Instagram. And because as much as like it takes you out of your comfort zone, it's one of the best forms of exposure that doesn't cost any money to do.
yeah. I
So
see. I'm better in like a 1v1 situation where it's just like me and just I'm better in like the DMs. I can slide into anybody's DMs and talk, all day long. But when it comes to like group settings, I have like anxiety about it. And even on social media, like posting to a large audience is so fucking hard. But I can talk to you all day, like one on
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Hmm.
I feel it.
It's so hard for me to get over it. And that's what, we've been lucky this far because we've been relying on like word of mouth a lot. And, we're hitting our goals still that we set with as far as like average monthly listeners and shit like that. So we're hitting our goals. We're growing. It's slower than what we would probably do if we were to post, random shit. But I kind of don't mind, growing slowly. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not putting in, a shit ton of money into this as well. So, you know, I can understand whereas a band would want to grow fast for like a fast return on their investment, but I'm not hardly putting any money into this. So,
yeah, I think the consistency is kind of the key
yeah,
of it all. And to really try to not stall overall. But
yeah. We've missed one Thursday since we started last June.
and that's awesome.
Wasn't that Thanksgiving?
It was Thanksgiving Thursday. Yep, that's the
Yeah, so
only
it
Thursday
was
we
kind of
didn't
like,
post. Yeah,
yeah,
it's the only Thursday we didn't post was
there was no
Thanksgiving.
point. No, I mean, not like, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
I didn't
holiday
feel like,
festivals.
people are hanging out with their families, people are traveling, people are, they're just busy. So I was just like, we're not even going to bother posting this week. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, but other than that, we've been very consistent in trying to. Those are the two things because I took a little bit of a social marketing class or whatever, and the two things that they hit on them, like there's three aspects of it or whatever, but the two biggest ones are consistency and word of mouth. So I'm just nice to everybody, and we post consistently, and that's what we're relying on the hardest.
And that sounds like two important rules to me. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely be nice to everybody.
yeah. We try. That's like the main thing is like I'm try to be nice. Which I mean that's not a hard thing to do. But let's get back to the music, man. What are some things that you're enjoying currently?
So I did mention Georgia Smith.
Yes.
She's definitely a big one. Another band that I was listening to a lot last year and this year, they're called Tops, and they're just I don't know. I guess it would just be like an indie rock, maybe a little bit more on like the shoegaze side of things.
Okay.
Uh, but um, they will do some different instruments like synth. The singer also she plays guitar, but she also plays the flute sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
They put out an EP last year called Empty Seats, and there's a song from there called Future Waits, which I love that song. Um, and let me think of another one. There's this from the album I Feel Alive. There is a song called Direct Sunlight that is super good too. And she has a flute solo in that. It's just a very fun and happy song. Her voice is very light.
Yeah.
Uh, it's very airy in a way, but I don't know. It's definitely a very specific type of vibe for a song, but
Yeah.
and,
My
and
my oldest daughter is learning how to play the flute.
oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doing pretty good at it.
I mean, woodwinds are hard. I tried learning. That was a self-taught instrument that I think I never got too far in, but I was teaching myself how to play the saxophone.
Oh, nice.
And I know the fingering patterns for saxophone and other woodwind instruments are pretty similar, but um, anything with a reed, I mean, it was really hard. I was just squeaking like crazy, sounding like a duck that was dying.
Yeah. I didn't know, but I found this out the other day. The piano is considered to be a percussion instrument. Did y'all know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of the hammers hitting the
hitting
strings
the
to
strings,
produce the
but
vibrations.
Makes
the
sense.
organ is a woodwind instrument.
Ah,
Isn't that the weirdest shit ever?
Yeah,
makes sense, I guess.
It's like they both got keys. I guess the way the sound comes
Yeah,
out
that
is
it
different.
ultimately comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the way that sound ultimately exits the instrument. Yeah, I thought that was the craziest shit.
yeah, it is pretty strange when you get into like the mechanics of it, and also just amazing.
Yeah,
You,
for sure.
my little brother actually he learned uh how to tune pianos, so that
I
was
didn't even
something
know
he
that
would
was a
do.
fucking thing.
Hmm.
How do you
Yeah,
tune a piano? Is it just like tightening of the strings and shit, or?
yeah. If you open up a piano, you can tighten or loosen each individual
Wow.
string to
Oh my
get
God,
this
that would
specific
suck ass.
tune. Yeah, if the whole thing's out of tune, it could be pretty bad. Uh, I think when a lot of people do maintenance on a piano, it's usually not that far off. But if you're
Yeah.
doing an old one, it might take a while, I'm sure.
Oh wow, that would suck. I just think about all the strings on those motherfuckers. I've opened a piano before, and there's a lot of strings in those bitches, dude.
Yeah, it's a ton.
Yeah. Adam, you got anything?
Yeah, so we talk a little bit about your like writing process. I'm always interested to hear how that works. So like do you start, writing like lyrics or a melody or just, let us know a little bit about that.
I think it usually starts with a guitar riff. I think that's the most common thing. It's funny because I feel like the process for my songs in general are always just so different.
Hmm.
Like for Silent Hex, for example, I think that song was written from front to end, which does not usually happen. Like the intro riff was actually just written, and then I went straight into the verse, and then straight into the chorus, and that just felt very natural to do. But I know songs on that are coming out later this year. I know for a lot of them, it was the chorus was written first, or the vocal melody for the most part was written first, and then music was written around it. And I know in this genre of music too, the chord progression is always important in the sense that the bass isn't always as active as the guitars, but it is like, the foundation for holding the chord progression together. But sometimes, when I'm writing lyrics and I'm singing, like sometimes I'm just playing the chords on a regular guitar, and later the bass will be playing those same chords, but then I'll write my grooves around that. So
Yeah.
and then sometimes a drum beat too. I know for Home Isn't Home Anymore from my self-titled EP, the first song on the EP, I wrote the drums like I just get randomly like I wrote the intro for the EP while I was like walking around in a grocery store. It sounds really weird,
Hmm.
but I just thought of that beat, and then when I got home, I just I tabbed it out, and it came to life that way. And that doesn't always usually happen. Actually, the EP before I started using a DAW, I was using a looper pedal, and that was a big thing for me writing because I would write a guitar riff and then I would chord that to a loop, and then I would start writing another riff on top of it. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess I write in a whole bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
um, it really just depends on.
As far as like the lyrical content, what do you I mean, I know most people write the lyrical content over the beat, like, once you have the song fleshed out.
Yeah, I guess the lyrical content that just comes to me so randomly, but at least the melody lines. Sometimes usually the melody lines are there way before the lyrics ever are, and then I have to try to match the lyrics to the melody line, as a result of that, usually the melody line will change to then a little bit uh, so that the lyrics make sense. After the lyrics are done, then sometimes I go back and I change the guitars or something very slightly just to match like, very minute sections of vocal melodies so that there's more, cohesion with them. And I think that's like probably one of the biggest like aspects of being somebody who writes most of these songs by
Hmm.
himself.
Yeah.
It's just that, because I write the different things, I do like to have like a lot of syncopation, and sometimes even the drums then will change too, so that the drums can do like accent hits at the same time that I'm doing a vocal melody and the guitars and the bass, so that so certain parts can be more punchy. So, but then
Yeah.
sometimes I just kind of let things go, and I guess it mostly depends on the vibe too. If I'm going for a more calm thing, then usually those things don't matter as much. But whenever there's like a high energy song, there's typically a lot of revisions that go through before I'm like ready to record it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Um, we actually have a couple of Patreon questions.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
nice.
Yeah. So if you go join our Patreon and ask some questions. We're terrible
Yeah.
at this, but yeah, if you want to join our Patreon, you can call Adam names and ask questions. So it's two perks.
Yeah, all good stuff.
um, this question, these are both from enormous Adam. That's his Discord name. Uh, Matt is his name. He wants to know how y'all got to be so awesome.
Well, we're not. It took some time, but
A lot of hard work.
yeah. But hopefully, with the new stuff, maybe we'll be even more awesome.
Yeah, there you go. I'm excited to hear that. And then he also wants to know if y'all like the movie Smokey and the Bandit.
Um, I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Oh
Um,
wow, that's a classic, man. He's got the little Trans Am. Who was it? Burt Reynolds?
yeah, it's Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, and the
Mhm.
little Trans Am.
You know, I don't know if I've seen it, but I'm going to watch it now,
There
and
you go.
I will have a more informed opinion.
All right. Yeah. Ask him later and he'll let you know.
Great questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Join the Patreon. It's fun. You get Discord perks too. A cool little name or whatever, name badge or something. I don't know. I don't handle Discord, so I'm in there.
We in there.
Yeah. And then let's get we don't have very many questions left, but we like to follow if you have any like friends bands you want to throw in here, anybody you want to, any of your friends bands or anything like that, anybody you've toured with that you want to kind of give a shout out to, put a song on here.
Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to this band. They're called Haven State. They are one of the few bands in Pittsburgh that kind of play similar style to us. As far as there's not a lot of post-hardcore bands in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um, it's definitely seems like that's more of a West Coast type of thing.
yeah,
But yeah, Haven State is they're from our city, and the guitarist from that band, he actually plays second guitar for us as well.
okay,
Um, and yeah, they do some pretty crazy stuff. They have a song called "Running" that is really good.
all right,
Yeah, but yeah, I would go and check them out. They do a lot of crazy stuff. And then also, I'll just give a shout out to I Met a Yeti, um, because yeah, they have always been such a cool band. And
for
Daisy,
sure.
Daisy, their vocalist, she will be actually
Hmm.
featuring on a future Space Weather song. So I
Let's
don't think I've
go.
announced that officially yet, but you know,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We actually have another. So she's been getting it, man. She's on one of the Properties of Nature song that's about to come out.
Oh yeah.
There's a newer band called Grapevine Gossip. She's going to be featured on one of their songs.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She told
Yeah,
me that she was doing a lot of features recently. So,
that's
and
awesome
yeah, I absolutely love that. I mean,
for sure. And then, we're supposed to have Rosilia on. I already hit up John Benoit, and he said that he's going to try and make it to where both of them can be on at the same time. So,
tell you what, John is probably the best guitarist like in the scene right now. I mean,
bro, he is so fucking good.
yeah, if you watch videos of him playing, I mean, there's just a specific level of I don't know, to put it into like perspective, it's like I think I can write good songs, but to actually play them and stuff, I mean, he is the type of individual that when he is actually playing, like when you think of like recording music, sometimes people go, sometimes people can do everything in one take, and I definitely think he's one of those people.
Hmm.
All of the riffs he writes, they make me want to like put on swimming trunks and sandals and like crack open a beer, man. Like it's like straight beach vibes. All of his fucking riffs are like they're just so fucking like beach chill vibes, dude.
Yeah, I would say a lot of guitar players, his style of playing has a
Yeah,
very it's specific type of personality to it,
yeah.
that is very unique and just another reason why. I mean, I
Like
think
what is that
he's
song? I remember when this song first came out, and I was like, dude, I want to go to the beach now. And it was I think it was yeah, Gambit. When Gambit came out, goddamn, dude, that
Oh
song
yeah,
yeah.
makes me want to go to the fucking beach,
I love that song.
100%.
Hmm.
All of their music is so good.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll also give a shout out to my drummer's band. They are called Nefel, and their band is actually instrumental, but they do some really complex and fun stuff. They definitely have a big animals as leaders vibe going on. They have one of their
Is
guitarists
that
is
where they
really,
got their name from?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean their guitarist, he can do like this the thumping thing that
Oh yeah, that's great.
Cinnamon does. That I mean that is a really hard technique to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, they do some pretty next level stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to them too. They have a song called "Time Under Tension" that goes hard.
All right, I'll check that out for sure. You never gave us a Yeti song. Let's get a Yeti song real
Oh
quick.
yeah, Yeti song. Oh geez, I would probably say Cthulhu. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean I've been a fan of all of their music, but Cthulhu, I just really like the energy in that song. It's a song that just makes me happy.
Yeah. They were one of the first bands to let me interview them like over 3 years ago. So they'll always have like a special place in my heart, you know. They're because I did this for like 3 years ago by myself and I had to put it on pause. But they were one of the bands let me interview them. So
That's sweet. I mean, and they've
yeah.
grown like crazy since then too.
Yeah, for sure. But and then give us the last song you listened to on Spotify.
The last song I listened to Spotify. Well, I think that I don't know why it's saying that the last song I listened to was that can't be right. It is saying Paramore, which that isn't not right because I love Paramore, but I don't know why this song was on. But just for the sake of since I'm there, we'll say the song Careful from Paramore
All right, that'll work.
because that's
Nice.
just a good song.
Yeah. All right, Adam, you want to do
Sure.
we got to get the songs too, so get the songs as well from them.
Yeah. So we want to give you some time to just shout out your social media handles, anything else maybe we didn't talk about the band has coming up. So yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so I mean, our handles on Instagram and Facebook is Space Weather Music, and then Twitter we are Space Weather US, which feels very official to me. Um, and yeah, just be on the lookout for a new music video. We're thinking maybe the end of May, so be on the lookout for that, and just be on the lookout for some new music too. It's going to be some pretty crazy stuff. Some of it sounds like our old stuff, and then some of it doesn't at all. So, anybody listening, I hope that you enjoy it.
Right on.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna want to add a couple of your songs to open the playlist and close the playlist. So which two songs would you want to do for that?
We'll open it with Silent Hex, and
yeah.
I think we'll just close it with Dancing Demons because I feel like that's just a good way to go out.
Mm.
There you go. Sweet. Yeah, I like that
Yeah, I mean it's our typical closer whenever we play sets, so it feels very fitting.
for sure. Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you giving us some of your time tonight, man. We thank you so much for that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
Thank you
guys
so
for
much.
having me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime, dude. Anytime you want to just promote something or whatever, just hit us up. We're starting to do like live episodes in our Discord once a month. So whenever you have like the music video or just a new song coming out, you can just come do one of those live shows with us.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty fun. We did one, we got another one scheduled coming out. It's a new thing we're starting to do just to kind of branch out, I guess.
Hmm.
And we did one with an artist named Ghost Shaft. He's really dope. He made our theme song, and it's the hardest goddamn podcast theme song I've ever heard in my life.
That's cool.
Yeah, and yeah, so we got another one coming up. I think this next one's going to be with Mark and Jack from Aleutius.
Oh, nice, nice. They're
Yeah,
cool. I like them.
yeah, super nice dudes. And then yeah, we're just start recruiting people to do those for us because the live episodes. Hopefully, we'll get it to where they're going to be a lot of fun once you know everything pans out. That last one we did was a lot of fun too. So
Yeah, I definitely would love to come back anytime, and that's cool. Also, that you guys are doing that stuff in Discord. I think that's going to be a next move of ours too. Is to
Yeah.
we've had a Discord for a while, but we've kept it private. But we're gonna, I think, open up and have the community on there, and it's a great place to keep everybody
Yeah.
engaged.
I had a guy set mine up. I paid him. He's super nice. It was it was Adam. He set ours up. He
Mhm.
didn't charge us a whole lot. It was like a one time thing, and then he also mods it for us for a little bit. But he set it up to where it looks like real professional, everything, and it looks really good. So he also linked like our Patreon to it for that stuff, and like we can like debut these playlists in there if we wanted to, shit like that. Like it's really cool, all the shit that he hooked up for us. So shout
Yeah,
out, Matt.
that sounds awesome.
But yeah, man, we appreciate you so much, and you have a nice night, dude.
Yeah, you guys have a good night too, and thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, no problem,
Thank you.
dude. Later.
Good night.